How much of this can you have on there before they flag you for copyrights? We'll say about that much. What's up, guys? Uh, just a little update. The wife's doing okay. She didn't need her gallbladder out. She does need it out, but it wasn't an emergency, so she's scheduling it for sometime. I don't know when that is. Middle of September, probably. But yeah, so all's good there. We're gonna get out to the North Wilkesboro Speedway before you know it. Hopefully this weekend. I don't see why not. She's still feeling a little under the weather, but she has medicine, and hopefully that stuff will start to work. And by this weekend, she'll be able to. All she has to do is sit in the car and walk around, so it's not like that big a deal. So, anyways, yeah, I'm out here in my little getaway, outbuilding away from the house. This is where I come and vandalize things. Uh, so, this channel is not just about me sharing these old videos. What I'm doing is just kind of going through an old computer that I have and pulling out some videos, and I've thrown them together to share them with you guys, and really just put them together for myself. That's the big reason I'd love the idea that I can come back in 20, 30 years and revisit these memories. But going forward, the channel's going to have some focus. It's going to be focused on traveling and how to travel efficiently and inexpensively. I do not have a lot of money. We plan our trips sometimes 2 years in advance and start taking care of, we make a checklist of everything we need to have done by the time we go. And ideally, every single thing is paid for before we walk out our door. Ideally, in some cases, you can't. You got to buy your food. You got to buy your, souvenirs of various things. Travel throughout the day. But for the most part, I try to build a framework of the vacation from beginning to end, and then just make a checklist. And if I can get all those things checked before I leave, it doesn't matter how much money I have in my pocket. I can go to New York City with $50, just for some grub, and I could spend, 2 days out there. Speaking of New York City, that's probably our next big trip. We're going to go there around New Year's, probably right after New Year's, catch some deals, and stay in Times Square. And then in the summer, we're going to take the train somewhere. We're talking about the Grand Canyon, maybe, but just a little further than the Grand Canyon is Los Angeles. Kimberly's never been out there. I grew up out there, lived out there, so I was about 15. But yeah, it's a cool place. I'd love to go. That trip's still up in the air. Where we might go somewhere else. We have 10, 12, 13, 14 days, something like that. We have enough time to go to the other coast and back on the train, and that's what we're going to do. Probably a combination of economy class and then maybe getting a sleeper car for one leg of it, and treating ourselves to what comes with having the sleeper car, the meals, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the dining car, and all that. Probably on the last leg coming back is how we would probably do that. Treat ourselves to having the shower and the extra room right before we get home. And then after that, the big trip that's planned, and it's planned for the summer of 2019, is we're going to go across Russia on the Trans-Siberian Railway. But we're not going to go all the way to Vladivostok. We're going to go down into Mongolia and into China and finish in Beijing. But basically that trip is going to be a trip around the world. We're going to start probably in Baltimore, fly WOW Air out of Baltimore through Iceland. May or may not stay a day in Iceland. It's not cheap to stay a day in Iceland. It's not cheap to get to the airport, from the airport to the city. Nothing's cheap in Iceland, but it is one of my favorite places. But yeah, we'll fly WOW through Iceland into London, probably, hopefully, ideally, and then we will go from London all the way to Beijing on a train, probably. We may take a ferry over to Amsterdam and then take a train from Amsterdam to Moscow, and then Moscow across Russia, down into Mongolia, and into Beijing from there. And then from there we'd fly from Beijing or somewhere nearby back to the west coast of America, and then from there somehow get to Baltimore, because I'm sure that's where our car will be. So that's the plan. Those are the 3 trips. We have 3 little blackboards in our kitchen. I'll show them to you sometime. And we keep those labeled with each trip, or the next 3 big things we're doing, and how many days away they are. And we update it, not quite every day, but every so often we update it just to see how far we are away from things. We always have at least 3 things to look forward to. And as far as the trips are concerned, those are the 3 biggest things that we have to look forward to. So that's that. Just a little update on the old lady, an update on the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I'm hoping to get out there. Today's Tuesday. I'm hoping to get out there Saturday, maybe Sunday, and sneak around. I hear that I get mixed messages about that. I hear that there are times when you can go out there and the guy's really cool and he'll even give you a tour. And I've heard other more recent stories that the guy's not so cool and he doesn't even want anybody going in there. He thinks people are selling pictures of it on eBay or some nonsense like that. I'm hoping to take some pictures and sell them on Etsy. So that's a whole nother story. So yeah, the North Wilkesboro Speedway, the 3 trips: New York, the undecided trip to the West Coast, most likely, and the Trans-Siberian Railroad, and all the things attached to it. Those are the 3 big things that you guys have to look forward to in the next 22 months, something like that, I think is the timeline to do the Trans-Siberian Railroad trip. That trip's going to be the better part of a month, so we're going to see how that goes. We have it priced out right now at pretty cheap. It's not very expensive to ride the Trans-Siberian. It's not very, or it's just the prices are just inexpensive. I guess they always have been. I mean, they're ridiculously inexpensive compared to a trip across America. It's quite a difference. But more on that later. Till then, see ya.